Okay, I'm not going to use this little dinky one, so I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to keep the doll one because I don't want to be too aggressive at times. This is our new one. Okay. Probably should put some oil in these things too at some point. Doing a bunch of grinding, I'm not oiling anything, that's not good either. Alright. Oil in her now. Alright, let's see how this works. Be pretty aggressive, I'm sure. Okay, you gotta be careful with a brand new cutter because it's gonna cut way too much. Definitely cutting. So what we're doing is we're making a trough right straight through here. So see, we're coming right through here like this. Hoping that it wouldn't fit in there before, now it does. I'm not going any higher on the short side, I'm just making it deeper, making a trough. That way you got room for the air to flow straight out of this port. It can get out. When it has a choke point right here, just bottlenecks and won't go through. Then we're going to go ahead and open up the side of this a little bit also to blend it in. Overall, that's going to make a big increase in flow. Just got to be careful. I opened the whole hole up here a little bit. Definitely got a big trough going through there. Staying up the short side up in here as much as possible. Doing a light blend. So it's a little uneven right there a little bit, but it's close enough for now. I'm going to flip it around, get the other side, and we'll come back and finish this side. It's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and go on this other side over here and do the same thing if needed. You should be able to see the grind mark where my finger is. That's where I've been cutting. So I got to come back and cut this whole area out of that side over here to allow this to go straight through. We'll probably have to get one of those real long cutters to do that because we're going to come in at an angle like this to get to reach that deep in. Good way to break a cutter. Alright, let's see, we'll make that this way. This side's huge over here. Typical Harley port. real small and real big. One side to the other. This side's completely cut away here, not even close to size. So all you do is light blending right here. Looks like I was digging a hole slightly in there, but it's a little thick through here too. So it's going to end right here though, as you can tell. So I'm going to do a little bit of grinding right on that area. Kind of blend it on out of there. Let's see, get over here a little bit. So you can see a little bit what I'm going to be doing through here. So the cutter won't go through there right now. Does now. A bit of a hole going there. Alright. So it's definitely opened up through here now. We've got a good trough going through. Where's my bigger cutter? Here's one right here. So you see how this cutter that didn't fit before, we have actually got a gap in here now. So it can flow on through. So get this good airflow through there. So I'm going to flip it around and do the other side on this other corner. Should be able to clean it up. Definitely going to have a lot of exhaust flow now. let's see how we're going to do this. Okay, so this is where we're going to try to get way up inside of here. Where my fingers were already ground, I need now to grind this port to match. Port's a little bit uneven also right now. So let's go ahead and blend the port in a little bit. Once I get this squared up a little bit, then I can blend it over there better. I use the electric grinder for that because it's more aggressive. One here. I don't like these too much, but they work a little bit. Hard to get feel for these things, so I don't use them very often. Do more damage real quick. Alright, so grind out a little bit there, a little bit of a ridge line there. So I'm blending this whole wall back a little bit. So you can see how that's now going to flow into that spot up there I need to get to. That's over here. So now I get my lawn cutter out and go in there and blend that in. Should be one of these cutters here, big long one. Let's see, I got two different sizes here. It's got a really long. I think this is going to be too big a diameter. Yep, that'll work. That'll get in there where I need to get to. So the bigger diameter you can use, the better. It makes it more even. Too big when you're way in there. Okay, so now you can see how the whole side of the port. You can see my finger in here now, see? It blends in there pretty good now. I cut this whole bottom side out where my finger is down in here. So I'll go blend this a little bit with my dull bit, make this more of an even radius. Then we'll go back on the other side and play with it from the other side and see if I like what I just did. Be careful about cutting too much, too quick. Get in trouble. Alright. There's a big flat spot on here. All through here was a big flat spot, so now it's more rounded. You can hear the cutter as I was digging in as I was going and making the circle. When you're all done, it should be a nice even grind as you're going back and forth. So now it's pretty well rounded out. Got a nice radius this way, obviously got a nice curve this way. Big flat spot here is pretty well gone. And it blends up into the bowl a pretty good way over there. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it around and go look at that other side. See what I do to make that better on that side. Okay. Now, you see you got a nice straight trough straight through here now, see? Yeah, that's not helping you any. Going straight through there, you can see there's a trough. See, my finger just goes right up that thing. That was not there before, not even remotely. So having that in there makes it really lets the flow go through. Okay, so that feels like it's more than deep enough through here. Blends in the radius pretty good. So I'm just going to do some light blending. There's a little bit of a sharp edge right there. Just a very light blend job, and I think we'll be good to go. So you don't really know how much you got to do until you start cutting it. Okay, I used a duller one. I think this is still too big to get in here. A little bit. That same blended flat spot area up in there I don't like. Can't really get to it. So we ignore it. Goes pretty good through there. Okay, where's the dull one? Trimmed out now. A little more blending, a little smoother. Nice radius here, a little bit sharp, kind of about right there, the tip of my fingers where that flat spot is. Not sure if I can get to it from the other side. We'll take a look. We can see it from this side a little bit better than from that side. Different angle. Not really. You can see a flat spot, but that ain't the one I'm feeling. So the flat spot's way up here, which is not too bad, but the transitional area is down here where my fingers, right in this area. It's an area you can't get to. It's there, but there's no access to it. Okay, so overall it's pretty damn nice. Do a little bit of blending right here in the top. Just a little hump right there. I'll get rid of the first hump so the second hump can flow better. Not too much. Just knock it down just a little bit. Use my aggressive cutter here to kind of knock off the high spot, hopefully. Yep. See the grind mark is right through there. See it stopped from it didn't go to my finger, it was just on the very top right there. See discolorization there, it's a little bit shinier. That's where I just cut. You see I lightly blended right to the edge of my finger right there is where I blended to. This side's fine. Okay, now I'm going to come across my dollar bit and just kind of work on it a little bit. So the aggressive bit will get you there quick, but it can also go way too much real fast too. Alright, it's more of an even radius through there also. The cutter ends right at the top, that's why you still got an edge up in there. Instead of being a sharp edge here, it's now way up here, but the cutter won't let me grind anymore over there. So I don't want to be cutting up on that spot there either way. So that's pretty good blending. It's nice and smooth now. Blends real nice over on this side over here. I did a little bit of roughness over here. I'm going to rotate this around, make sure it's clean. It feels pretty even. So we'll just finish up the other side of the port just to make sure. So this is where it was cast a little bit on the big side already. Different angle. Ugh. Okay. So see a little more what I was doing here. So this is all raw material. I'm just going to give a quick sweep right through there. It's pretty even. There's a little bit of stuff over in this little corner. I got to rotate it one more time to get to that. So we're just going to lightly give it a quick clean. Too aggressive. Okay. Rotate it in that spot. Should get me to where I need to be. Yeah, maybe one more. I just don't like that. Yeah. This is where you're going into the as-is material. A little bit of roughness through here. I'm just going to try to blend that all in a little bit. We'll be doing that with a radius cutter. If there's any spot I could really put that where you're going to be able to see what I'm doing. We're just going to have to do it and pretend we said we saw it, right? Okay, let's see here. Use this big one here. Not much you can do about that. This isn't the right cutter to be using. Use this one. Of course, I got a bad positioning. Camera's in the way, bike's in the way. Bad position to do anything here. Let's see. Okay, there was a hole right there because there's a big high spot out here. Now the hole's gone. So I cut this down until the hole got to the edge of the hole. Yeah, I cleaned up quite a bit. So now this is more round through here too. And over here, not too bad, but a little bit right there I need to work on. To rotate this just a tick to get to that. Always in the wrong spot. Okay. Knock the same thing off there a little bit, blend in the low spot. That flows a lot better all the way through. Ooh, the only place it didn't grind was way down in there, and that's rough. Turd right there in the middle of it. Big turd. Okay, I'm going to have to come in there with my long grinder. I think I can get my short one in there. It's hard to reach in there that deep, see? In there a little bit. Let's see if I can get in there and do something about all that. Definitely hard to get in there. turd in there. Let's try this one. Ooh, that knocked it out. That right tool does the right job. Quickly. I'm going to smooth that up though. It's a little rough. Like that. Okay, so I took all the burrs off that way down in there. You can see how the flow can flow through this side. You can flow through this side here too, a little bit tighter, but it goes through. This is definitely bigger. Nice and smooth coming on out. The intake, we got the same thing going on, blowing up both sides of the guide here real nice. And obviously it comes out the intake port pretty good. So you can flow in there pretty damn nicely. Definitely got good flow down both sides of the guide here. And there's the exhaust. Got a little bit of a tit right there, but I'm going to leave it. Don't worry about it. Alright, so there you go. It's pretty good. So I'm going to do the other head. So it's probably an hour-long video or better. I could do that on that one. I'm not going to videotape that one though. Alright, that's going to be it for the porting for this tonight. We'll show the other one here in a little bit maybe. That's it for now. Alright, just finishing up the heads here. It's almost tomorrow. It's going on midnight. Walker blew out of here about 8:30. I think that's when he left. Anyway, as usual, customer thinks everything takes only a few minutes to do. Takes a few hours. So anyway, I had to clean up all the mess that Walker did before on the heads. So anyway, I did a little work. There's a few low spots in there that got in there pretty deep. I think it was this head here. Yeah, there's a big hole all through here. Somebody dug a big gouge in here, I think. It looked like it was cut in and not cast in, so I had to blend it and live with it. This one over here wasn't as bad. This is all casting stuff in here, so a little different. So anyway, I got these pretty well smoothed up until I get some good flow through them there. Definitely got some big ass holes to go through there now. So this is these are bigger ports than that stupid ass 110 head was. These are big. The intake board too. This should be slightly smaller here, but What do we got here? What do we give out? 600? A little under 600. They were 750, I think. A little smaller through here, but the valve is, all this stuff in the intake is smaller than that, but this will flow better, I think. The exhaust is definitely bigger than the 110 all the way through. Definitely bigger. But anyway, this is only 62 cubic inches, and they're 110. Yeah, great. That's why these old Ironheads run pretty good. Wind belt right. Alright, so I got the, this has an oversized exhaust valve in it, so we're able to make these a little bit bigger than stock normal sizes. You've still got the same basic size at the back end here though, but coming through the bowl area here it's a lot bigger, so it'll flow pretty damn good on both of these. So you can kind of see how they go through. The intakes obviously are fairly big on our old bikes. Compared to stock twin cam Reva, they're huge. Compared to 110 heads, they're not. At least the Scream Eagle ones. But they're pretty good size. Look at the size of the bowls in these things. You can put your fingers in here. There's no problem putting your hand inside of these ports. So these ports here are sized good for this valve, and they're decently sized to here. It'd be nice if these were a little bit bigger, but you know, they are what they are. If you go to a rubber band style intake, you can cut the lip off and bore this out and make it bigger. So anyway, that's what all this looks like. So, you know, just you got nice even flow. If you look through it, it's pretty symmetrical going out. When you look at it through the butt end over here, it's fairly symmetrical. It's a little bit lower on this side here. This one here is a little bit closer. So that's where the height of the port, get down here lower. The height of the port through here is more equal to the side. You always have one tall and one short one. That's in all these heads. You can see how that's over here, but this one's a little bit higher than what this one over here was. But that's pretty consistent. These don't like me. So anyway, these are all flowed out, so they'll flow real good around the valves. So when you put the valves in here, this is the rear one. This must be the front one. Rear. Over here, dumbass. Front. So how that goes. Okay, so that's what they look like when they're assembled. So basically, when you cut them out to make them breathe, you kill compression, but as soon as this valve lifts off the seat, you can see it flowing air. And the bigger it gets pretty good size flow. Now, really, if you had really big ass cams like my race bike cams, it actually gets, once you hit about here, it starts getting smaller as you get taller up. It pinches here from the side. So you actually have to come in here and open up the head. I come in here and cut this whole wall out over to about here. And then when you open the valve up, the more you open the valve up, the bigger it gets, the more airflow you get. So it took me a few years to figure that out, but once I figured it out, it made the bike run better. It also quit burning up the piston so bad on the nitros. So that's something you run into when you get real high lift cams. When you start running over 600 lift on these bikes, you start getting up in that area. You know, these things is probably about 500 where that starts really bothering you. This has the Y cams. They're only 430 lifts, so these are only going to lift about to here. You're just starting to get to the point where it starts choking it. I could go in here and blow this out, or I can leave it for a little more compression. I'm going to leave it for compression because this is a small motor. We pretty well killed a lot of it already. The exhaust has the same issues, but they're a lot smaller, so it's not as much. So anyway, as soon as you open the valve up, it starts flowing air out of there pretty quickly. You can see how it's going to, there's no real restriction when these things open up. So anyway, the stock heads have a lot of restrictions. These do not. So when these things get flow checked, when people check my work, they find out that my heads flow better at low lift, mid lift, and high lift. Usually you don't get all three. You get one for sure, maybe two. You never get three. I get both. Or I mean, I get all three. So I make big gains. So anyway, these are all right. All this is done now. Tomorrow we're going to have to finish these up when I get time, and we're going to have to set up our coil bind clearance and our valve seal clearances. I might have to shorten these guides up a little bit. We got to figure out all our installed heights and all that stuff. So that will be the next thing I got to do. And then once we get all those numbers figured out, then we can go ahead and assemble. Plan walk is going to put the bike together after that. So yeah, we'll see how that flies. So anyway, that's what they look like now. So the quick job to do the heads today, we started at about 4 o'clock, I think. No, 8 o'clock. It's 8 hours. There you go. Yeah, it takes no time at all to do these heads. And we still got another hour's worth of work to do on them yet. So you start calculating how many dollars it costs to do heads. There's a good guess. If I actually charged that much money and made that, it'd be nice. But I don't charge that much. But I should. So anyway, that's it for tonight. We're going to get the hell out of here and maybe go home and get something to eat. That's it for tonight.